Time flows endlessly like a river, and the world changes its appearance every moment. Yet, within the waves of change, there exist values that never fade. About 2,500 years ago, in an extremely chaotic era, there was a great figure who left deep insight and immeasurable wisdom to humanity. His name is Confucius. His teachings went beyond mere ideas, forming the foundation of East Asian civilization. And even today they deeply permeate our lives, delivering a powerful resonance. His wisdom is like the North Star in the night sky, serving as a steadfast guide for modern people who have lost their way. Today, we humbly follow Confucius's footsteps and explore how his wisdom transcends time to vividly apply to the lives of modern people. Who exactly was Confucius, and what did he want to tell us? Now, pause all the noise for a moment and listen carefully to his calm and profound voice. Within it, you might find your own answer. In 551 BCE, in the state of Lu during China's spring and autumn period, the seed of wisdom began to sprout. This was a time when feudal lords waged continuous wars to expand their territories, and the lives of the common people were severely impoverished, truly an era of chaos. During this turbulent period governed by the law of the survival of the fittest, Confucius was born into a fallen noble family. His childhood was marked by poverty and hardship. Losing his father at the tender age of 3 and raised by a widowed mother, he showed from an early age an extraordinary passion and spirit of inquiry that transcended normalcy. Despite difficult circumstances, he never let go of the thread of learning. He learned the examples of ancient sages from his mother, and persistently read books even amidst unfamiliar rural customs, never ceasing his pursuit of knowledge. At that time, scholarship was a privilege enjoyed only by a select few nobles. But Confucius did not succumb to such social restrictions. He believed that the opportunity to learn should be available to everyone and worked hard to cultivate himself. His efforts bore fruit, and by the time he was about 30, he was recognized as the most learned person in Lu. Hearing of his reputation, many came from all directions to receive his teachings. His disciples gradually increased in number, and a small community of learning was formed. He insightfully understood that the severe social chaos was not simply due to physical wars, but stemmed from the collapse of Li and Yi, which formed the foundation of social order. With the true gentleman disappearing, and a selfish world chasing only personal gain, he deeply longed for the restoration of humanity's innate moral duty and social order. During this time, he left behind a famous saying, that condensed his life and approach to learning. To learn and to practice what is learned from time to time. Is that not a pleasure? To have friends come from afar, is that not a joy? To be unresentful when others do not recognize me. Is that not the way of a noble person? His scholarship was not merely an accumulation of knowledge, or a means for personal advancement. It arose from deep reflection, and a practical will to find the true meaning of life, and restore the innate moral duty of humanity tarnished amid chaos. No matter how chaotic the situation, he never lost hope, and continuously sowed seeds of wisdom to prepare for the coming era. His teachings were like a ray of light illuminating the darkness. Confucius sought to realize his ideals in reality, and traveled to various feudal states to promote his vision. In Lu, he rose to the high position of Grand Minister. But his idealistic reforms faced strong opposition from the entrenched powers. Eventually, unable to fully implement his political ideals, he began a long and arduous 14-year wandering. He roamed through many states such as Wei, Jin, and Kai, but unfortunately, no ruler truly appreciated his deep wisdom and noble intentions. Sometimes he went hungry for days due to lack of food, and even faced threats to his life. His wandering was a continuous series of hardships. Yet, Confucius never bowed down to these setbacks and hardships. Instead, through his time wandering, he deepened exchanges with his disciples, and firmly established his philosophy. He realized that political success or reforms of an era were less important than educating future generations to fundamentally change the world. His gaze turned toward the distant future. He was the first in Chinese history to accept disciples regardless of their social status. His students ranged from sons of high officials to ordinary farmers and even former slaves. Their backgrounds did not matter at all. He practiced an innovative educational philosophy that teaching should have no discrimination. He emphasized not just transferring knowledge, but above all cultivating the character and morality of his disciples. Within his circle, diverse individuals grew through learning and nurtured the seeds that would later become the pillars of Confucianism. To know what you know, and to know what you do not know, that is true knowledge. The noble person may stumble in speech but acts swiftly. The benevolent do not worry. The wise are not confused, the courageous do not fear. His painful wandering rather enriched and broadened his life, and his teachings were passionately passed down to numerous disciples, becoming the solid foundation of later Confucian thought. He never gave up despite setbacks, pioneered new paths, and invested in the future. His life was like a lighthouse of wisdom shining through a difficult journey. The two core pillars of Confucian thought are benevolence and propriety. Benevolence is founded on deep love and compassion for others, and represents the fundamental value in all human relationships. Propriety refers to the correct behavioral norms and social agreements that maintain social order and harmony. Confucius insisted that only when these two values are perfectly balanced can one live a truly humane life. Benevolence takes complete form through the framework of propriety, and propriety gains vitality through the spirit of benevolence. He did not stop at theoretical claims. To practice benevolence in real life, he emphasized the attitude of reciprocity. Do not impose on others what you yourself do not desire. This teaching is recognized worldwide today as the Golden Rule, and is regarded as a universal value. It is the beginning of empathy, and the most important virtue in human relationships. Moreover, he stressed that propriety is never mere formality or superficial decorum. Propriety must arise sincerely from the heart, and the spirit behind it is more important than outward forms. Observing propriety is not just about etiquette, but an expression of respect for others and an essential virtue for social harmony and stability, a conviction he held firmly. If you want to stand, help others stand first. If you want to reach somewhere, help others reach it first. The noble person pursues the way, not livelihood. He may starve when farming or live in poverty when learning. Would a noble person worry about poverty instead of the way? A noble person may be slow in speech but quick in action. Confucius found the foundation of human relations in filial piety and fraternal love. Being devoted to parents and kind to siblings is the first step in practicing benevolence, and the starting point for establishing morality in society. His teachings were not grand or abstract ideals, but practical wisdom that can be applied in daily life, offering concrete guidelines for a humane life. Confucius presented the noble person as the ideal human figure. A noble person is not merely someone of high rank or ruling class, but one who possesses moral integrity and strong character. He emphasized that becoming a noble person requires constant effort and self-cultivation. The path of the noble person is not a destination reached all at once but a lifelong journey. He sought to embody the image of the noble person through his own life. Humbly, he confessed that only by the age of 70 did he reach a state where his actions aligned perfectly with the moral law, acting according to his heart without breaching propriety. This reflects the pinnacle of Confucian thought known as having no desires yet never going beyond the way. It means achieving inner freedom through continuous self-discipline and perfect harmony with external norms. Confucius also placed great importance on self-examination. He reflected on himself 3 times daily, persistently filling his shortcomings and striving for growth. His saying, "I examine myself thrice daily," still inspires many to reflect on themselves and live a mature life. Recognizing one's mistakes and having the courage to correct them was seen as the true beginning of growth. The noble person seeks the cause within himself. The petty person seeks it in others. To err and not correct oneself is the real error. The noble person harmonizes without uniformity. The petty person is uniform without harmony. He valued inner maturity and moral living over outward honor or temporary wealth. His teachings gently urge us to continually look inward and strive to become better than we were yesterday. This is the path to inner peace that remains unshaken even in a chaotic world. Confucius passed away in 479 BCE at the age of 73, concluding a life full of trials and tribulations. Sadly, during his lifetime, he was unable to fully realize his political ideals in practice, and few rulers truly understood or appreciated his wisdom. However, his death was not an end. Rather, it marked the beginning of a new chapter, where his teachings would shine even brighter. His disciples carefully compiled his words and actions into the immortal masterpiece known as the Analects, which became the cornerstone of Confucian thought for generations to come. Later, Confucianism firmly established itself as the state ideology during the Han Dynasty and spread its profound influence beyond China to Korea, Japan, Vietnam, and throughout East Asia. Even thousands of years later, we continue to encounter his wisdom daily in the phrase Confucius said. His philosophy is not just an ancient classic but a living treasure trove of insight. Confucius was more than a philosopher of ancient China. His teachings remain relevant in modern society, offering deep perspectives for us today. In a world rife with endless competition and conflict, the spirit of benevolence helps restore lost humanity and cultivate empathy toward others. The spirit of ritual propriety enables true communication and harmony amid fractured relationships. The noble path of continuous self-reflection and growth provides a steadfast compass in uncertain and turbulent times. If I hear the way in the morning, I can die content in the evening. The noble person thinks of virtue, the petty person thinks of land. The noble person thinks of law, the petty person thinks of favors. When three people walk together, there must be a teacher among them. Confucius was not merely an educator who transmitted knowledge. He was a great master who ceaselessly explored and offered answers to humanity's most fundamental question: how should one live? Throughout a difficult life, he never gave up on pursuing his ideals. And he strove to change the world through teaching alone. He stands as the ultimate example of a true, great teacher. Confucius's teachings transcend 2,500 years and offer wise answers to the many challenges we face today. His story of finding the true self and living a humane life lives deeply and vividly within our hearts across time. What answers have you found in Confucius's wisdom? Today, what path of the gentleman do you wish to walk?